Hey everyone, it's William from Scamming Scammers Action. We're here to do our live September Facebook Q&A. I'm sorry about the delays and stuff. I've had a lot going on. I had a second interview I had to do, and we've had a few things lined up, so I wasn't able to get online any sooner. So I'll give it a few minutes and let people come on into the chat, and we'll start our Q&A, and I'll address a few things that are going on. But again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me tonight. And thank you everybody for your well wishes and all of you that have joined me in past Q&As and who are joining me tonight. We really appreciate it. I want to start off, I'm letting a few people come into the chat. I want to start off by addressing something really, really important. A lot of you have been asking about how Anne is doing. And I will start by saying, for a start, thank you for all of your thoughts, all of your prayers. She is still recovering from two major surgeries. It was a very, very scary time. We did almost lose her. We came very close to losing Anne. So it's been a very tough month, and it's been very hard. I'm trying to fight back tears. The thought of almost losing her was very scary. But she is recovering. She will be away from the page for a little while longer, a couple weeks or more. She needs a lot of time to recover through this major surgery. But she is out of intensive care, which is a great, great thing, and she's getting stronger. But like I said, it's going to be a long recovery. And when she does come back to the page, if she wants to elaborate more on what surgery she had and what she went through, she can definitely do that. But for now, I'll let you guys know that she is doing a little better. She is stable. Not out of the woods yet, on lots of medicine and antibiotics and battling infection and other things, but she is doing better. So thank you. She wanted me to tell you all personally that she really, really thanks you for all of your thoughts and prayers and everything you guys wrote to her. I read to her over the phone, so she definitely knows that there's a lot of love going around for Anne, and she will get better and better as time goes on, and just keep positive thoughts for her. And I again thank everybody for all of their kindness and all of the sweet words and the messages you guys sent. They did not go unnoticed. So thanks again for that. And she wanted me to pass a message to thank everybody and you know let everybody know that she appreciates everything you guys do, and you guys are the reason we keep doing this and why we keep going. So thank you very much. And again, she's getting better, but it's going to be a long road. And I'm running the page as far as answering the inbox and working day to day on the page for now. When she returns, we'll definitely let you guys know. But for now, you got to deal with me. So, but thanks everybody for your patience as well, because I know that, as you know, I work a full-time job, so I'm not always on here constantly answering messages, but I do my best. And I wanted to thank all of you for your patience and your kindness, because I'm doing my best. I'm not Ann, so I'm doing the best I can. But again, thank you so much for all of your patience and your kind words. So Ann says hello, and that she appreciates all of you. So thank you for that. Um, we'll move forward with a couple things. I just got done doing an interview for hopefully a future documentary that's being made about romance scamming. I won't go into details of it, but that's the reason why our Q&A was pushed back a few hours. I've been invited starting October 6th. I'm going to be doing some live Q&A, scam prevention tips around my state of Oregon. I'm going to be in a couple of senior centers, the Prestige Senior Center in Central Oregon. We're going to be doing a Q&A live, helping seniors to stay safe. We'll be promoting Scamming Scammers, promoting the YouTube channel, and promoting education and awareness for seniors and those online. We think of our grandparents and our parents, getting online and getting scammed. So I'll be speaking at a couple of different senior centers around Oregon, giving out some tips and things to keep seniors safe. So hopefully I'll be able to live broadcast it, or if not live broadcast, I definitely will be recording the events and then posting them on our YouTube channel, Scamming Scammers. So a big shout out and a thank you to the senior centers who contacted me who'd like me to speak. And I will definitely be there starting October 6th at 2, and it'll be in Central Oregon. So with that being said, a lot of you wrote in with a bunch of great questions and great topics you'd like covered. We're going to try to keep this a little under an hour if possible. I've still got a lot of the inbox to work, and I just want to try and touch base on some things, and hopefully our October Q&A will be a little bit more upbeat because maybe we'll have Ann back. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to jump into a few topics. And again, I'm reading the chat. If you have any questions as you go, you can write them in the chat, and I'll try to address them. But thank you so much again for all of your positivity and your prayers for Ann. All right, so we're going to start off with a topic that a lot of you have brought up, and I just made a video yesterday about it, and we're going to touch on scammers are doing the same type of romance scams, but this time the scammers are coming out of India and they're coming out of Bangladesh. We're seeing more and more scammers from that part of the world who are making fake profiles, just like the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, a lot of the West Africans, romance scamming with fake profiles, but they are working out of India. And if you noticed on the page this week, there's been a handful of fake profiles we've exposed that show the real faces, and they are scammers from India. So when that happens, and unfortunately, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, well, they talk the same as the Africans, and they don't. A lot of the Indian scammers are well educated. There are actually a lot of people from India who are real engineers, who are, you know, very well educated men and women, and they're scamming. So if you're talking to a profile and their English is really well, it's really, you know, written well, there's no there's no M from the state, there's no crazy chopped up language, and it flows really well, don't let your guard down and think that it's a legit profile, because it could likely be a fake. Make sure you're doing all the checks. Check the Google image, the photo, check the about section, check what they're telling you, what they're asking of you. If they're asking for money, iTunes cards, things like that, they are a fake. Too many times we get caught into this notion that a fake profile has terrible English. And we've had so many victims say to us, well, no, he's got to be real because his English is really good. That couldn't be further from the truth. A lot of scammers, even the ones in Nigeria and Ghana, are well-educated, college-educated people. And so they are well-spoken. Their spelling is correct. Their grammar is correct. So don't let your guard down on that. And as I said, be aware more and more scammers are coming out of India. We get into this notion that scammers from India are the typical Microsoft Windows scammers or call center scammers, and that couldn't be further from the truth. We have more and more scammers out of India who are doing romance scams, who are luring victims, who are asking for iTunes cards, or asking for money. So please be aware of that. Just always check. You know, we have tools on our page that you can use to check, and when in doubt, come to the inbox, and we're more than happy to help you. So I just wanted to touch base on that. The scam is evolving, and it's reaching the Indian population in India. They're seeing how much money the West Africans are making, and so they're saying, hey, we're going to have a shot at it too. So be very, very careful with that. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for your well wishes for Ann. We really appreciate it. One of our first questions that we got asked is from a page regular, and it's a little bit of a long question, so I'm going to touch on one question at a time. A traumatic life event or death of a loved one, a divorce, loss of a job, or a disaster, how do these situations allow scammers to emotionally manipulate you? And that's a great question. A lot of people that do become victims of a romance scam or an online scam, often what happens is they are already dealing with traumatic events. We've had so many victims come to us and they say, well, I just lost my mother, I lost my partner, you know, I lost my house, my job, I'm at my wit's end, and they meet people online when they're a little bit emotionally unstable or they're lonely, and scammers take advantage of that. Scammers use your tragedies as their upper hand to try and get money from you. And what they'll do is, you know, a lot of us, let's say if we're been married for 35 years and we just lost our partner, you know, a year ago, and we come online looking for friendship and love, we find it in a scammer using a fake profile, and that person pays attention to us, and that person, you know, tells us what we want to know and what we want to hear, then we do fall for them. And unfortunately, a lot of our victims are people that have been divorced, widowed, that have lost loved ones recently. So, you know, scammers hone in on that. So if you're having an innocent conversation with somebody that you just met online and you say to them, yeah, I lost my husband last year. It's been really lonely. If it's a scammer, they're going to hone in on that and they're going to be like, perfect. Let's shower this person with love and affection and let's try to get as much money as we can from them. So emotional states do play a part in a scam. Scammers do latch on to people that are emotionally going through a hard time. And I think they do make those type of people their target. So, I mean, like I said, they use it to their advantage. And then part of the question that he asked was, prior to going online, dealing with grief and traumatic events. You know, it's a lot of people go online to deal with their grief. A lot of people join groups and they go into, you know, chats and things to deal with their grief. And what ends up happening is, like I said, you get scammed by someone who, you know, attaches themselves to your grief and says, oh, I can help you. I think that to a point you have to kind of be emotionally a little stronger. You know, when you go online, don't let your guard down. You know, people that are going through a lot, you know, do tend to talk a lot about their issues with strangers because it feels more comfortable. And unfortunately, scammers do look for that. Personally, what I would do is if I was going through a hard time and I went online just for fun, just to chat with people, I wouldn't tell people too many personal things about myself. And I wouldn't latch on to anybody emotionally, especially when I'm emotionally in a turmoil. And so, you know, scammers, like I said, they do look for that. And you should deal with some of your grief definitely prior to going online looking for love. You know, I wouldn't recommend going online right after losing your husband and just talking to anybody that'll talk to you because you're just extremely lonely and you want to find a new man in your life. Because no, that'll set you up for failure. So, I mean, as far as your question is dealing with things, I think you should, to some degree, deal with your emotional problems and things that are going on in your life before searching for love online, definitely. And then the third part of his question was relapse of a victim who continues to fall for fake profiles and goes from one to another. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. You'll have victims who will get scammed, and then they'll fall for another fake and another fake and another fake. And it's unfortunately, it's just, it's a chain of events that unless they get themselves educated about scams and scammers and what to look out for, they're going to continue to be a victim. And unfortunately, that's not their choice, but it's their choice not to educate themselves. So if we have a victim that comes to the inbox and they say, yeah, I've been scammed by this fake profile, and we tell them what happened and we tell them what to look out for the next time, but they continue to fall for it and get scammed when they know what to look out for, when they know how to stay safe. That unfortunately happens, and there's not a lot you can do about it. You know, you can be supportive and be there for the person, but at the end of the day, it's their choice to continue to talk to blatantly fake profiles. And sometimes people just don't learn. Sometimes people don't want to learn. And unfortunately, some people have to lose everything before they'll actually, you know, figure out what's right and what's wrong. So yeah, there are victims that continually fall for fake profiles. And if you're a friend of a person like that, all you can do is try your best to help them. But at the end of the day, it's their choice. And if they choose not to look out for the red flags and, you know, stop talking to fake profiles, then all you can do is sit back and watch if you've done all you can do. So I hope that answers your question. And then another regular wrote in and said, can you advise what else friends and family can do if they know someone is a victim, but the victim refuses to listen? Is there anything friends and family could have said or done differently to make them believe that they are being scammed? You know, this again comes down to the person who's being scammed. You can show a person evidence. You can show them that the photo is stolen from so-and-so. You can show them the real scammer behind the profile. You can show them all these tools and say, look, this is A, B, C, and D. This is all fake. And sometimes victims will still not believe you. You know, and it's frustrating for those who are on the other side watching it happen. But all you can do is, you know, my advice would be, don't be cruel to them. Don't scream and yell at a victim and tell them, you know, you're talking to a fake. How can you be so stupid? Don't do that. all that's going to do is push the victim further into the arms of the scammer. Because they'll go to the scammer and say, my cousin, my sister said you're fake, and I don't believe you're fake, and what's going on? So be gentle. Be gentle with a person who's being scammed. Show them the facts, and be kind about it. Don't make them feel stupid, and just show them the facts. If they don't listen, there are some victims that, unfortunately, like I said, they lose everything before they're able to know what's going on, and we hate to see that. We really do, but it does happen quite often. But like I said, there's nothing you can really do differently other than be kind with them and show them the facts. Be straightforward with them and say, look, this is what I found out about your new man, and go forward like that. But it can be frustrating for family. I completely understand. We've had a lot of family members come to us and say, I don't know what to do. My cousin, my uncle, my mom won't listen. You can only do so much. You can only help a person so much until they have to fall before they can get back up. And it sounds harsh, but it's actually true. So hello to everyone who has joined us in the chat. I appreciate all of you. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat box. I'll try to answer as many as possible. Hi, Mary. Hi, everybody. And thank you for all, again, your well wishes for Anne. She really appreciates everything you have done for her, definitely. So our next question, before I get that question, I want to touch on something. In the United States, we just recently had a hurricane that killed and destroyed, and we also had a typhoon that hit the Philippines. And a lot of our friends and stuff that page friends that live in the Philippines and that live North Carolina, South Carolina, that whole Carolina coast, our hearts go out to you guys. We're very sorry for what happened. I've had a few people from the Philippines come to my inbox and ask what they should do. My best advice, if you want to help your fellow Filipino victims, your fellow victims in the Carolinas, it's a great thing, but make sure that you're going to a website that is legitimate, that is a legit donation website. Go to the Red Cross, Google Philippine Disaster Relief and find legit charitable organizations. Don't believe a Facebook profile who says, oh dear, I'm going to help the victims of the typhoon, give me your money. It'll be a scam. So if you want to definitely help, we encourage you to help your fellow man, but Google the websites. We've already come across a handful of fake charity websites that are trying to get money, and scammers that are pretending to be, emergency victim, search and rescue victim finders, and they're, asking for money and iTunes cards and all these things, and they're capitalizing and marketing on the fact that these scammers and these victims need help. So scammers are looking for that. So again, our hearts go out to everybody who's been affected by a disaster, but please give donations to legitimate companies, okay? So one of our questions came from a lady from the Philippines, and we do have a lot of page friends from the Philippines. Her question was, I want to start my own anti-scammer page in my own country. Do you have any advice? Yeah, it's a tough thing to start an anti-scam page, and especially on Facebook, because Facebook will shut you down when they feel like it. If you're looking to start a website, a blog, we definitely encourage it. We encourage people to talk about romance scamming. We encourage you to share, to start pages in your own language. I've had a lot of people come to me and say, can you do a page in Indonesian? Can you do a page in Thai? And I said, well, I'm sorry, I only speak English, but definitely spread the word in your own language and start a page if you'd like to. My advice to you is it's a tough thing to do. It takes a lot of time. Like I've told you before, I work a full-time job, and when I'm not working, I'm actually on this page. It's dedication. It's something you have to do every day. It's not something that you can do, for an hour a day and say, oh, I'm not going to go online for 2 more days, because when you come back, you're going to be just full. Your inbox is going to be full of victims asking for help. So take the time, take the dedication. If it's something you really want to do and you really want to educate people, just remember that it does take a lot of your time. It takes a lot of time to learn what you post, what you're looking for, how to tell if a profile is fake. But definitely I encourage you to educate your fellow people in the Philippines about scamming. And if that's something you want to do, you absolutely have my support on it. But like I said, keep in mind, it does take a lot of dedication. It's not a hobby. It's definitely something you have to do every day. Jeanette asked, do scammers have a database of their victims? And hi, lovely smile. Thank you. Not so much a database. Here's the deal with scammers, and a lot of newer victims come across this problem. If you let one scammer onto your page and you make contact with one scammer and you engage them in conversation, what happens is that scammer will take your profile link, they'll take your name, your number, whatever information you have given them, and they will go ahead and they'll give that to all their scammer friends. And they'll say, here's a client that possibly could give you money. Now, if you've been the victim of a scam and you've sent money, you become what's known as a hot client. And so they take your profile link, they take your phone number, whatever you've given that scammer who got money from you, and they give it to other scammers, and those scammers give it to other scammers. And it's kind of like your profile and your information goes all across the board. It goes into groups that are run by scammers that say, hey, I got money from this man or woman, and it just gets spread around. And it's unfortunate. They don't necessarily, like I said, keep a database, but they will keep your information. And especially if you've lost money, they're going to share your information with all of their friends, all of their neighbors, and they're going to say, hey, try this lady. She likes military men, or this man likes, young girls that are 25. Try it blonde, try this person. And they share your information. And that's why a lot of victims get tons and tons of friend requests, because they just, they get their information shared. So you'll find a lot of times one scammer shares your information with 100 scammers, and before you know it, you've got 100 friend requests from 100 different fake profiles, and they're all different scammers. They're all different scammers just looking to get a little piece of the pie. And it's unfortunate, and the best thing you can do if you have been a victim is just keep blocking them. And eventually scammers, they'll learn if you're not going to pay, if you're not going to pay attention to them, if you're not going to give them anything, they'll go away and they'll go somewhere else. So thank you, Leon. Good day, mate. How easy is it for the pictures used to be photoshopped, Dana? Very easy. Pictures are easy to Photoshop. They're very simple. You can go on Microsoft Paint, which is on every single laptop and computer known to man, and Photoshop a picture. You don't have to be experienced. You don't have to be educated in computer science or computer apps. Anyone can Photoshop. I could show a child to Photoshop in 5 minutes. In fact, it's probably the other way around. A child could show me how to do a Photoshop. Also, keep in mind that scammer groups like the Yahoo Boys, the Sakawa Boys, the Yahoo Yahoos, all of those groups, they have scammers in those groups who specifically will just Photoshop for you. And they'll do it for as little as a $15 iTunes card. And what they'll do is they'll take, if you've gotten sent a photo of a military man, that scammer will actually just Photoshop the sign, holding the sign saying your name, and the scammer will do it for hardly nothing. So it's fairly easy for them to Photoshop signs and, holding things up and saying, oh, yes, dear, here I am, I love you, here's your name, and it's really easy for them to do. What is the first thing to do when you get scammed? The first thing you should do, grab all the information you have, grab the profile link of the person you were talking to, any phone numbers, payment details, whatever they gave you, email addresses, grab all that, put it somewhere safe, write it down on a Post-it, write it down on a notepad on your computer, and then block the scammer. Don't tell them that they're a scammer. Don't tell them they're fake. You block them. Block them on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you've made contact with them. Block them on any apps you have, WhatsApp, Viber, anything like that, just block them. Block them from your email, mark their email as spam, and secure yourself. Block them out, shut the door, don't let them come back. That's the first thing you need to do. Second thing, if you've lost money, if you're in the United States, ic3.gov, Interpol, or Google your local, cybercrime division of whatever country you live in. Almost every country has one. If not, they have Interpol. File a report. If you sent the money Western Union or MoneyGram, Google the hotline number to call for fraud. Give them all the payment information so they could open up an investigation. But the very first thing you do, block the scammer. Block them right away. Don't even say a word, just block them. And that's the best thing you can do in that situation. So our next question, are more scammers leaving their photos open? Yes and no. A lot of scammers, what they're doing now is instead of creating fake profiles, they're using their real profiles, and they're just changing their name. So you'll have a scammer who's had his own real profile for 5 years, and he'll just change the name on the profile to Bob Smith. And what they're doing is they're not securing their photos, which is a great thing. I'm not even going to mention how you can secure your photos on this, because scammers could be watching this, but they're not locking their photos down. And so what happens is they'll change their profile photo to a military guy, but their other photos are still open. So you'll have a photo of a military man, his profile photo will be a military guy, and then in the albums you'll see a bunch of Nigerian guys sitting around the table drinking. And that's one of them will be the scammer. Or you'll have the scammer's real photos and he's flashing money or laying in bed or whatever. I think more of them are just not paying attention, and they're just so eager to get a profile up there that they're not securing their profiles down. And that's a great thing for us, because then we can find who they are, and it makes it easy. So I hope they continue to leave their photos open as far as I'm concerned. So we had a couple more questions. And this comes from a lady in Thailand. And she asked, the profile I was talking to, I found out was a fake. I sent money to 2 different men with Nigerian names, but in the United States. I then sent money to a few Nigerians in Nigeria. Are there Nigerian scammers working in the US, and do they work with their family abroad to scam? Absolutely. We've gotten a few payment details lately that are Nigerians living in New Jersey, New York, and then they also gave their brother's name that lived in Lagos. So there are Nigerians and Ghanaians and people from all over the world that live in the United States in that scam. And they do send the money back home, or they'll say, well, honey, send me $1,000. My name is so-and-so in New Jersey. Send another $1,000 to Lagos. And it'll end up being the brother, the sister, whatever. And that's how we find a lot of scammers. So yes, they do. There are Nigerians and Ghanaians living in the US. There are scammers living all over the world. There's American scammers scamming from the US. So when you get told that you need to send money from a fake profile, if it's the United States, don't automatically think that it's safe. There's tons of scammers in the United States. There's tons of people that are also, money mules that are taking money in for the scammers. So don't automatically think that, well, because they asked me to send the money to Florida, it must not be an African scammer, because it's likely to be a mule, a victim, or it could be one of the scammers themselves working out of Florida or wherever. So don't let that detour you. Always, if anyone asks for money, just tell them no. And that actually comes to our second question, asked, are there people who money mule knowingly, or are they all victims? They're not always victims. We know a handful of American and Australian, we've actually found a couple of Australians that will money mule, become money mules for the scammers. They do it knowingly. They do it for a cut of the money. And I know one girl in particular who's been doing it for about 8 years now. She is an American. She lives in Texas, and she mules for all the Nigerian scammers. She gets the money for them, picks it up at Western Union. She keeps a small portion, and then she sends the rest on to Lagos. She's been doing it for a number of years. She's got a police record longer than my arm. She continues to do it. She was banned from 1 year of sending money via Western Union. There are people that do it for a living. There's a guy who hangs out in one of the Yahoo Boys groups who volunteers to pick up money. He lives in Indiana. He's more than happy to pick up a scammer's money for 10%, 12%, whatever they charge. Do they get caught? Once in a while. But the majority of them end up just getting a year ban from Western Union, or get banned from MoneyGram for a year, or they can't open a bank account. But yes, there are people that openly work with scammers and do it for the money. So It's unfortunate. I wish more of them would get arrested, and unfortunately, a lot of them don't. If they're muling a large amount of money, there was a woman in Queensland, Australia, who just got put in prison for doing just that. She was a money mule, and she muled millions of dollars for Nigerian scammers. So it can happen. Um, but yes, they do it for like a side job, and it's really pretty pathetic. In my opinion, they're no better than the scammer. So our next question is from a lady from Indonesia. She said, I talked to a military man for 5 months, and he never asked me for money. He left to return home from deployment 3 days ago, and I have not heard from him. What do you think this is about? That's a great question. I'm sorry, I'm super thirsty tonight. I just got done talking for like over an hour. So what I think that's about, what is going to happen is, first of all, let's say this: deployed military men in Syria and Afghanistan and Iraq, they're not sitting online talking to you. Deployed military men are not sitting there sending you virtual roses, flowers, teddy bears. They're not sending you poems. They're not wanting to get to know you. They're not wanting to marry you. So with that, it's a scam. Okay. Are there military men online? Absolutely. There's military men online, but they're not sitting on dating sites writing you poems. They're not sitting there wanting to get to know you more better. Okay. What I think will happen is he will contact you in probably the next day or two and say there's a crisis. Oh dear, I got detained at the airport. I was robbed at the airport. Something happened. The money question's coming. And I guarantee within a few days he's going to tell you that he needs money for some reason, or that his passport was held up, or whatever. But a lot of scammers, what they'll do is they'll build a relationship with you. They'll be your best friend, your lover. They'll be everything you ever dreamed of. They'll never ask you for money for months. And then they'll say, oh, honey, I'm going on a business trip. Honey, I'm coming back home from deployment. And they end up then moving in for the money question. And they'll say, well, honey, I was at the airport and I got robbed. I was on my way to see you and I got robbed. I need $1,000. And that's what they do. So to you, I would, personally, I would block the person. But if you want to wait and see what happens, I guarantee he's going to ask for money, or someone's going to contact you saying that he needs money. Catherine, you're right. A lot of scammers do put potential victims on park and they focus on others. It's not uncommon for them to have 4 or 5 victims at one time. And a lot of people get really offended in the inbox when I say this to them, when I say you're not special. A victim will bring me a fake profile. And I'll say, well, I'm going to go ahead and post him, and I'll post, what he told you, that he's working on an oil rig and he's in Norway and blah, blah, blah. And the victim will come back and say, please don't do that, because he'll know, because he was talking to me. And I'll say, I'm sorry to tell you this, but he's telling the same story to 5 other women. Scammers do prioritize victims. And if they think they're going to get, $10,000 from a certain victim, they will talk to that victim. And then if they think they're only going to get a couple iTunes cards from you, they'll put you on the back burner until they need you. And so they prioritize their victims by their financial gains or what they can offer the victim. And it's very true. And they will prioritize. It's definitely, and you're right, Catherine, they do get their marks confused. They do confuse who they're talking to sometimes. And if a scammer has a lot of victims on the hook, if your name is Jane and another victim's name is Sally, sometimes they mix the names up. So instead they just call you honey and dear. But they do confuse their marks, their victims. And sometimes that can be a good thing, because someone will catch on to it. But yes, a lot of them do have more than one victim on the hook. And thank you to everybody for your kind words. I'm just reading the chat as I go. I've got a few more questions. And then we've got another lady that she wrote it in from Texas. And she wrote, I talked to a man who asked me for money. We met on POF, Plenty of Fish. I told him I'm very poor and have no money. He told me if I loved him, I should sell my things. And I have to get money. Why are they like this? Don't they understand I am poor? They do. They don't care that you're poor. They really don't. And I'll tell you why. The thing of it is, we have a lot of victims that will say to us, I'm poor. Scammers aren't going to want me because I'm poor. They're not going to take money from me. I'm poor. You know what? I'm poor too. Scammers don't care. Scammers will size up what they can get. They can use you in any way possible. So if you're talking to a man and he's, falling in love with you, and then he says to you, honey, I need $5,000. You say to him, I don't have that kind of money. I'm barely paying my rent. The scammer will then say to you, honey, do you have a car? Sell your car. Do you have money for, do you have some jewelry? Do you have nice jewelry? You could sell your jewelry. Take it to the pawn shop. I'll promise I'm going to pay you back triple, quadruple what you send me. And a lot of victims will feel pressured, and they will sell their car. They will pawn their grandma's wedding ring. They will, sell and take out payday loans at high interest rates and all kinds of loans beyond their means to pay the scammer. Because there's two reasons for it. One, they think this is a person they love, and so they're doing it for the person they love. And two, they think, well, gosh, if I send this man $5,000, he's going to send me back $15,000. Everything's going to be great. And what ends up happening is people, lose everything. And a scammer has your money and he's long gone. A lot of victims too, if they say I don't have any money, well, honey, open up a bank account for $10. And like Woodforest Bank and a lot of bank accounts, Chase, they require a minimum amount, $20, $10 even for some of them. So the victim will open up a bank account, and the scammer will say, honey, I'll pay your bills. I'm going to send you $5,000 into your new bank account. And they do. They wire money to your bank account. The money is stolen. The money has been obtained either from another victim's bank account or fraudulently through hacking into a bank account. And what happens is that victim opens a bank account. They get $5,000. And the scammer says, honey, keep $3,000 and send me the other $2,000. So the victim goes to this new bank account they open. They take out the money, and they're going, yeah, I can pay all my bills this month, and I just got to send my man a couple thousand. A few days later, the bank comes back and says, there's fraudulent activity on your account. We need that $5,000. You owe it to us. You owe us all the fraudulent activity fees, any finance fees, whatever the bank wants to charge you, insufficient fund fees, whatever they can do. And you could even face fraud charges, felony fraud. We've had a lady recently, sadly, she got 4 felony fraud charges against her for opening a bank account and accepting money from a man she thought was in the military. So they don't care if you're rich or poor. They're going to go ahead and try to use you in any way they can use you. So don't think you won't become a victim because you don't have money. Though the scammer to you, they're going to use you whatever way they can. So if you don't have money, they're going to go ahead and use you as a money mill. Or they'll use you to, oh, honey, I got packages coming from Amazon. Can you accept them and then send them forward, please? They'll do that as well. So don't get into this notion that just because you're poor or you don't have money to send, that you're going to get off without getting scammed, because they'll find a way to use you. And in a scammer's mind, everybody is useful in some way or another. Even if it's for you to go buy them a $10 iTunes card, you're of use to them somehow. So just remember that. Don't think you're untouchable because you're poor. So next question is a really quick one. Why are so many scammers using Dr. Pinto's photos? They are. Dr. Pinto is everywhere. I see Dr. Pinto in my nightmares. They are using his photos. And the only thing I can say to it is it goes in cycles. About 5 years ago, Hubertus's photos were used everywhere. Jeffrey Miller's, Aaron Ramos, those were like the top 3 most used photos. And they cycle around in time. And Dr. Pinto is the newest doctor's photos to be stolen. A lot of women like Dr. Pinto. They say he's very handsome, and they do fall for his great smile and all these things. And so scammers know that. To touch on Dr. Pinto, the real man has a verified Instagram account. He's not online looking for women. He's not online dating. He doesn't need you to send money to his charitable sick orphan fund. The real man is not asking for anything. But if you see Dr. Pinto's photos, it's going to be a fake profile. He's not sending unsolicited messages to people. But like I said, he's just popular right now. You know, in 6 months it'll be some other famous doctor, or, you know, for a long time we had Dr. Oz, you know, so now it's Dr. Pinto. But again, be aware, and we do post his photos once in a while under fake profiles just to give people a warning. So just keep that in mind. Dr. Pinto is not looking for you. Next question comes from a friend in Australia. I don't understand why my scammer can't be arrested. We'd love that. I'd love to be able to tell you, yep, thanks, we're going to send all the information over and they're going to be arrested. The truth is they're not going to be arrested. And it's very rare that they're arrested. You can have a scammer's fake profile, his real profile, his name, address, his phone number, his true information, and he will not be arrested. The problem is kind of complicated. You know, people like IC3, the FBI, they can take your complaint, they file it away, and a lot of times it's used as a statistic. It's not used to capture a scammer. Same with if you live in Australia, Acorn, they take the information, but they can't go over to Nigeria and arrest your scammer. There's no jurisdiction for them to do that. So a lot of people come to us and they say, well, why can't the FBI fly over to Lagos and arrest him? He lives at, you know, on Main Street. And they don't have the jurisdiction to do that. And quite frankly, the FBI is so bogged down with other things, as are Interpol and other law enforcement organizations. They're not going to spend, you know, $10,000 to investigate and fly over to Lagos to arrest a scammer who took $500 from you. It's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, the scammers know that. They know that they can get away with it. The only time that they arrest them is, and you'll see, you know, these news stories of, you know, 15 Ghanaians arrested for $20 million in wire fraud. They go after the big fish. And you know, people ask us all the time, well, what can we do? But there's got to be justice. The only thing we can do is educate. Educate people not to send money, educate people not to send iTunes cards, and move on with your life and block the scammers and stop engaging with people that, you know, you don't know online, that, you know, that are blatant fakes. Stop sending things to people. Stop giving your checks away. Stop giving your money away. Stop buying Amazon cards. Stop it. That's the only way you're going to stop a scammer. You know, we've had a lot of people, and I have one gentleman on our YouTube channel that is like Vigilante Joe. He wants to fly over to Nigeria. He's going to fly to the Lagos airport, and he's going to get off the plane, and he's going to go to the scammer's house, and he's going to punch him in the face and arrest him. And I keep telling this person, the only thing you're going to accomplish in doing that is possibly get yourself, you know, lit on fire and dragged through the streets of Lagos. It's a different world over there. You're not going to fly over there and tap your scammer on the shoulder and say, I'm arresting you. Because a scammer and all his buddies are going to kill you. They don't care. They have no value of human life. If they cared about human life, they wouldn't be scamming people. So there's not much you can do. I encourage people to file reports. Ann and myself always say, file your report with IC3, file it with Interpol, file it with all your local police, whatever you need to do, so you have that paper trail. But after you do that, don't expect a knock on your door from an FBI agent telling you that they found your scammer and he's in jail, because it's just simply not going to happen. And I understand your frustration. The only thing we can do as a page is investigate and expose. You know, if we find the real face, we'll definitely put him out there as a scammer. But that's where our loyalty is. That's all we can do. We can't arrest a scammer. I had a gentleman the other day ask me when I could fly to Africa to take his scammer on. I says, I'm not. You know, this is just an educational page. That's all we can do is educate and bring people to the right jurisdiction of, you know, filing a report. Other than that, there's nothing we can do. We're not a vigilante group but I'm not by any means going to fly over to, you know, Accra, Ghana and go find your scammer. I don't do that. And there's no anti-scam page that does. And if someone's telling you that, then they're just full of it. So file the reports, but that's all you can really do. Don't expect them to be arrested. Rhonda, they do use celebrity profiles. Sheryl Crow sent a fake Sheryl Crow the other day, sent one with her fake driver's license. It was funny. Let's touch on it. Celebrities. We all love our celebrities. We're all fans of, you know, our favorite actors, actresses, our favorite bands. We want to be acknowledged by them. We want to be known as their #1 fans. Legit celebrities. The Rock, Oprah, Oprah's been running wild this last week. Um, they're not giving away millions of dollars if you type amen, win, God bless, whatever on their page. They're not going to give you a new Mercedes if you are their friend. Legit celebrities, you know, I know a lot of people have crushes on their favorite celebrities, Gerard Butler or whoever you love, you know, is not going to be your Facebook friend and all of a sudden find you attractive and marry you. It doesn't work that way. The reality is you're talking to a little scammer. You might be even talking to an underage little, you know, West African kid. So just remember that. And celebrities do have fan pages. Of course, they have verified fan pages. And in fact, one of my favorite drummers has a verified fan page that once in a while when you write on her page about something, she'll reply to you in on the actual page and say thank you or something. But as far as them private messaging you and wanting to know you better and wanting your phone number, it's a scammer. Legit celebrities don't go looking for love on the internet with strangers. Jeanette wrote, through your experience, does Western Union refund fraudulent acts of scams? No. Let me start with this. If you have sent money via Western Union and you have the MTCN number and you go online and you look and the money hasn't been picked up yet, you can call Western Union and cancel the transaction and you can get your money back that way. If it has not been picked up yet, absolutely call them right away, get your money back. If the money's been picked up, they don't refund. Western Union, MoneyGram, all of them, there's a disclaimer when you send money. It says, you know, do not send if you suspect fraud. Once money is sent and picked up, it's gone. And the majority of these scammers spend the money the same day they get it. There is a class action lawsuit right now going on through Western Union that if you sent money, you were a victim of a romance scam, you can file part of the class action lawsuit. It's not guaranteed to get your money back. You might get some back. The lawsuit's still going on. May 31st, I believe, was the deadline, but I've had a few victims tell me that they have contacted Western Union and they are still able to get their information into the lawsuit. Jeanette, I will private message you the link to the website and you can give it a try and see if you want to file anything. But just keep in mind that once money is sent, though, it's pretty much gone forever. It's very rare that anyone's ever gotten their money back. But with the lawsuit Western Union has, it's possible you might get some of it back. So as I said, I'll private message you the information. And I'll also post it on the page later. Kathy wrote, how would I know if they use my pictures? That's a legitimate fear of a lot of people. You send photos to a scammer of yourself, of your kids, your grandkids. It's possible scammers could use them, especially if you send photos of your kids, because they love getting photos of children because they use them as their own children. The best way, and it can be kind of tough because it doesn't show up right away, go to tineye.com and upload your photos that you've sent to the scammer and see if they show up in search. You can try Google as well, Google image search, but Google's kind of iffy on what it comes back with. But definitely tineye.com, and I'll put links to these websites up later tonight on the page. And just throw those photos through search and see if anything comes up. Anne had her photos stolen a few years ago and they were on a bunch of dating sites. So it is possible. And one of the more popular things that scammers do with your photos is after you've kind of made them mad and you refuse to send them money, they'll put your photo on as their wallpaper just to make you angry. But definitely Google the photos and tineye them and just check and see if they're on there. That's kind of the best way to have a look. Our next question. Yeah, we did touch on this, and I had a lady ask me about this. Okay, so let's say you've been a victim of a scam, you filed a report, and you got your ticket number from IC3 or whatever. Let's say a couple weeks later, the FBI contacts you and says, I think I found your scammer. I'm going to go ahead and have them arrested, my dear. And they PM you on Facebook, all right? Let's touch on this. There are scammers who do what's called a reload scam, and they will actually they know you've been scammed. and they know that you lost money. So they'll make a new profile, or it could be a friend of the scammers, and they'll pretend to be an FBI agent. And they'll create a fake profile. They'll PM you and say, "Dear, I heard you were a victim of a scam. Your name came up in a database. I got your information. I'm going to arrest your scammer, but it'll cost $500 for the fee." It's what's called a reload scam. It's a scammer trying to get more money from you, or it's a friend of the scammer trying to get money from you. Remember that legit, and we've covered this before in our videos and things like that, legit FBI agents are not PMing you on Facebook. They're not sending you unsolicited emails from Gmail. .gov, or something of that nature is going to be legitimate. But if you're getting an email from FBIagent@yahoo.com, it's a scam. And another thing I want to touch on is there's a lot of anti-scam groups out there. Some are good, some are mediocre, some are full of themselves, and some of them are run by scammers. If you went to an anti-scam page and they said to you they have information about your scam, they've spoken with an FBI agent, they can confirm that they know all the details of your case and your scammer's been arrested. But for the information, it's going to cost you some money. If an anti-scam page is telling you that, it's likely an anti-scam page run by scammers. I can tell you right now that Anna and myself are never going to tell you that we have spoken with the FBI and they've given us information, because it just doesn't happen, and the FBI doesn't work that way. The FBI doesn't talk to Bob Smith, who runs an anti-scam page in Kentucky. It doesn't work. So if you're talking to an anti-scam page or a scam expert, and they say to you, yeah, I found out about your case and I found your scammer and I'm talking with the FBI right now, we're on our way to arrest him, you're likely talking to a scammer or an anti-scam page that absolutely has no idea what they're doing. So just remember that. Interpol, FBI, the EFCC, all of these organizations that fight criminal activity are not going to private message you on Facebook. They're not going to send you an unsolicited email that's, EFCC Nigeria at gmail.com. It just doesn't work that way. They're government sites and you'll have government issued emails. So don't fall for that. Another one, really quickly, I had someone, this is my last question on here, so if anyone has questions, they can write them in the chat box. Scammers in groups. A lady tonight brought me a couple of fake profiles that are in groups. Scammers do join groups. They join groups with fake profiles. They'll join a group, I don't know, you live in Texas, you live in Houston, Texas, they might join a buy, swap, and sell group from your city. God forbid you have a relative or a child that has leukemia, cancer, and you're in a support group on Facebook, a scammer will join that same support group and claim they have a sick child. It's very disturbing, it's very sickening, but it's what they do. And so scammers do join groups with fake profiles. They try to infiltrate those groups. They'll watch you. They'll watch what you do, what you say, and then they'll go in for it. Scammers definitely stalk their victims. And as I've told the lady tonight that I spoke to, anyone running a page, whether it be a garage sale page on Facebook or a cancer awareness page or a mental health page or a working, powerful women page or whatever it is, a good page admin will get rid of fake profiles. And a good page admin will examine who likes their page. Personally, I go through who likes this page and I pick off scammers all the time on here. So do remember that scammers do join groups, and that's how a lot of victims become victims. They meet their scammer in a group. They meet their scammer, playing words with friends and that kind of thing. So don't get into the notion that just because you're on a dating, you're not on a dating profile, that doesn't mean that the scammer are not targeting you. Scammers definitely target people who play games online, people who are in groups, and people that are, doing something innocent. So it's not always somebody looking for love who gets scammed. It can very easily be a person who's just playing, a poker game online, or who's just, talking to somebody about a disease or something they have. And unfortunately, scammers infiltrate all those groups, and they do look for victims that way. So just keep that in mind. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll answer anything that's left. That's about all the questions we had in our that were messaged to us via the page. But if anyone's got questions, feel free to ask them now, and I'll answer them. So just a reminder, if you've missed this, we're going to upload it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/scamming-scammers. So if you're on the other side of the world and it's the middle of the night, definitely we'll have this video uploaded within a few hours. I want to thank everybody that came. And again, if you missed in the beginning regarding Anne's health, I just want to let you all know that she's doing better. As I said in the beginning of this video, she had one major surgery, and during the recovery process, there was some issues and complications. She had to go in for a second very major surgery. We almost lost her during the surgery. She spent quite a long time in intensive care, and now she's recovering. It's been a very long road, and it's been very scary. And we came. I don't think she would mind if I say this. We came probably within 10-15 minutes of her dying. It was that serious of a medical emergency. So definitely believe in the power of prayer, and for everybody that has helped get through this. It's been very hard on me as well. So, but she's doing better. Like I said, she'll have a long road to recovery, and I'll be running the page pretty much for the next few weeks or more. So if you're in the inbox, I'm the only one here. I'm who you get, and that's pretty much how it is. And again, just to touch base, to let you guys know, I'll be doing, for a few Saturdays, some live videos, or hopefully some recorded videos. I've been asked to speak at some senior centers in Oregon regarding safety and scams. Some of them are brought to you by the state of Oregon Health and Human Services. Some are sponsored by other programs for seniors. I'll be in Central Oregon on October 6th at Senior Center. We'll be talking about keeping your parents, your grandparents safe online, those for 65 and older, how to stay safe. And so I will be bringing my webcam, laptop, and everything, and be video recording the conference, or whatever we want to go. There's going to be about 30-35 people there, so I'll definitely record it and upload it to our YouTube channel when I get a chance. But that, again, is October 6th. And if you'd like information, if you live in Oregon, if you live in Central Oregon, you want to come see me, I'll give out the information of where I'm going to be for that Senior Center conference. And we're real excited to be branching out and doing more stuff in person. So quick, Lauren Davis, I've been getting calls to my cell phone from India. You know what? I have too. I get a lot of phone calls from weird places too. I had the IRS call me the other day saying they were going to take me to jail. India, like I touched on earlier, it is a growing place for scams. So do be careful. I think it's +91 is the Indian country code, but do be careful with them. The best thing is just to block the number if you can. A lot of people say, how do we block? I have an Android phone, but it works on Apple as well. If you go to Google Play Store and you download Mr. Call Blocker, it's an app that works really, really well with scam calls and robot calls. It's free. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space on your phone, and it works really well for blocking calls. But it's Mr. Call Blocker. It's got a little red logo on it, so that's kind of one of the best ones to use that I've found that work really well. Lynn, is it common for a scammer to come back to the same victim as the same name? Oh, yes. In fact, one of our page regulars is dealing with a scammer who has come back 11 times with the same name, the same photo, and he's just keeps stalking her. So it can be very frustrating if you block a scammer and they come back and they're just like, it's like an invasion. They just keep coming back again and again and again. It is common. Some scammers, it depends on the element of the criminal, but some scammers actually love to stalk victims. Even if you've not sent any money, they'll latch themselves on to a victim and just keep harassing and harassing them until you just want to scream. And I'm not sure why they do it. You know, it's just the personality of the scammer, but they definitely do come back. They also do come back as other people. They, you know, if you're being harassed by Bob Smith and you blocked him, maybe Smith Jones will come back to see you, and it's the same scammer. So just keep blocking. Keep blocking and just keep. Same with the phone calls, Lauren. You can report them to the FBI. You can report them to the Federal Trade Commission. If you're on the do not call list in the United States, you can report the number. The unfortunate part of it is a lot of these numbers are called burner numbers. They're free voicemail numbers. So by the time they get reported, the number's already gone. But definitely do report them. My fake old lady profile has a phone number, and she gets hundreds of calls a day from all kinds of people. So it definitely it's frustrating, and it can happen. And it definitely is harassment. And like I said, when it comes to phone calls, when it comes to profiles, some scammers do love to harass. They love to just, you know, they will stalk a victim until it just drives the victim mad, and it's not uncommon. Most scammers, though, they don't waste their time. They're after money. I've encountered scammers that if you don't voice chat with them right away, if you don't show interest in being able to send money, they move on. And that's what a lot of them do. But there are a small percentage of them that have a lot of victims on the burner, and they're making lots of money, so they have the time to harass you. And it definitely sounds like that's what that one's doing. And it's the same with phone calls. They'll harass you until you don't want to scream. We touched on something earlier this week, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about Facebook Messenger calling. If your Facebook Messenger is on and your little green light is on, which mine, you know, I have Facebook on my phone, and it's always on, and so my little green light is always on. A lot of times what scammers will do is they will get they'll call you on Messenger. They'll just use Messenger. They won't have a Facebook profile. They'll just use Messenger. And they will call you and ring you and ring you and ring you and ring you until you try to pick up. And if you don't pick up, they'll just keep trying to video call you. As we said before, there is an option on Facebook to turn off your video and voice call on Messenger. It's really quick and easy. You just go to your Messenger settings, click on enable, disable video voice call, and just click disable. And that's what I do, and it stops scammers from constantly calling and ringing your Messenger. They'll actually just get a message saying it's been shut off, and you can choose to shut it off for permanently or for a few hours or whatever you want to do. But that's a good way to deter scammers. There's some scammers that will just call you right away without even talking to you. They just want to hear your voice because they want to make sure you're who you say you are. And if you don't answer, they get kind of nasty, and they say to you, "Oh, you're fake because you're not answering your phone." They said the best way: turn off that Messenger. Just turn it off, and turn off video voice chat, and hopefully they will quit calling you. But yeah, it is definitely annoying. So, but if anyone has any questions, that would be a good time to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to close this Q&A for September. I hope everybody has a really, really good rest of the month. It's going quite quickly. Where I live, we've already had our first snowfall, so it's definitely getting to be winter. But thanks again for everybody who joined us. And as I said, I'll be uploading my Saturday, conference chats we're going to have at the Senior Center. We're focusing on helping seniors stop being victims of scams and phone scams and that type of thing. And just to let you guys know, everything we do is for free. All of these conferences, all the things we go to, the Senior Center, the videos we make, everything we help you in the inbox, we all do it for free. We never get paid for any of this. It's all volunteer work. And we do it just because we care about people. There's no other reason. I care about victims. I care about people that, are getting scammed. So please just know that. I recently had a victim come to me and ask me if we could donate money to help the typhoon relief in the Philippines. And unfortunately, I had to tell her I couldn't, because Anna and myself we're normal, everyday people. We're not rich. As I've told you guys before, I work more than a full-time job. This page, our YouTube channel, all that, we don't make any kind of money. It's all for free. So just keep that in mind that, we do it all for free. Melissa said she disables her phone settings. Yep, I do the same thing. I disable my calling feature on Facebook. And everybody else, if anyone has any questions, Microsoft tech support scammers. You know what? I've had Microsoft tech support scammers call my work. And I don't go into a lot of detail about what I do for a living. Just I work in security, and I work a lot of graveyard shifts, and I have Microsoft tech support scammers call my work number in the middle of the night. So, Jeanette, I'm part of a closed Facebook account for military significant others. Should I let them know my experience? If so, they know what's going on. Absolutely. It doesn't hurt. We've had a lot of people say to us, I want to warn the military man that his photos are being used. And this goes for military, this goes for anybody. It would not hurt to bring up the topic of scamming. I encourage anybody who's in a group, especially you, Jeanette, if you're in a military-based support group or any kind of group, let them know what's happening. Let them know that their photos can be stolen. The problem we're having is people get upset with me when I say this, but don't get me wrong, I love the military. I thank servicemen all the time for what they do. But part of the problem with the scamming in military photos is a lot of these military guys, they put their photos out there. And they have military fan pages, and I've covered this before, like tattooed military dudes and, hot military men fan pages. And what these guys do is they upload their photos. They upload 40 photos of themselves at the gym half naked in their military, camo pants or in a, military outfit with their shirt open or, showing off their muscles and doing all this stuff. And what happens is scammers go to these pages and they steal the photos. So we have victims asking us, where do they get these photos from? They get them from military men who upload their photos to fan pages. And it's unfortunate. And I understand that, if you're, bodybuilder and things like that, and you want to show off yourself, great. But keep in mind, scammers are going to steal your photos. And the military photos, there is an unbelievable bottomless pit of photos for them to steal because they keep uploading them and they keep uploading them. I've had victims ask me, I want to tell the real man in the military photo that his photos were stolen. And I say to you, well, that man in particular already knows. And you know what he said? He said he thinks it's funny that women are victims. So a lot of these guys, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying there's a lot of them that they don't care that scammers are using their photos. There's some that don't care. There's some that think it's funny. And then there's some that are genuinely sorry. And they say, gosh, I'll lock down my profile. I didn't know. We had one military man in particular that had his photos stolen, and we contacted him because he had an open Facebook page. And he had actually come to our page and say, hey, these are my photos. He was really upset. And he closed his Facebook profile down to where all you could see was his wallpaper and one profile pic. He said he had no idea. So, you get a mix of them, but I encourage you to share your situation, your story. Let the people in the group know, because it does help. It definitely does help, and maybe it'll help some of the guys lock down their profiles, because some of them are very innocent. They don't realize that their photos are being stolen. Let's see. Lauren, you received such a call. I thought that it was related to error reports I submitted. Let's see here. I'm not sure what you mean by error reports, so if you can kind of elaborate on that, I might answer it. I'll touch on one thing about Hangouts. I see a lot of you writing about Hangouts. Scammers, it's just, I say this so much. Scammers love to go to Hangouts. And the reason they go to Hangouts is because it's hard to get kicked off Hangouts, and you can't really report a fake on Hangouts. And with Hangouts, and if any of you have ever been on there, and if you've ever seen any of my chats, you'll see them say, let's go to Hangouts. We've got to go to Hangouts. And how Hangouts works is it's not kind of like Yahoo Messenger was. You have this bar of all the victims you have. You can have them all lined up, and they can just click through and pick who they want and talk to each victim that way. And it's really, really hard to get kicked off Hangouts. So they all go to Hangouts because Facebook will boot you off really quick. You know, even Instagram, they're closing down a lot of fake profiles, but not Hangouts. Hangouts is the hangout for scammers. So if someone asks you, if you just met them on a dating site and they say, let's go to Hangouts, don't go it. It's going to be a scammer almost every time. My scammer wanted me to take a pic of my rental car's license plate number when I went on a road trip. Why would he want that? It's a weird one. I'm not sure. The only thing I can think of, possibly they might use that photo, that license plate, on their own fake profile. They might have connections where they can run the plate number and see who rented the car. You'd be surprised how many scammers can get into databases and different things. So they may try to get your information that way. They could say, oh, this is the plate number, and they run it through a search site somewhere or some kind of hacked profile for Enterprise or wherever rent-a-car you went to. And they'll say, yeah, it was Kathy so-and-so, and she rented it, and this is her address, and this is her credit card number. So that's kind of a weird, I've never come across that, but that's the only thing I can think of that maybe that's what they're doing. But that would be kind of weird. I wouldn't give anybody my license plate number. Melissa, you're right. They do use Hangouts. They can't get kicked off. Yeah. You can't report them, but you can block them. It's really easy to block somebody on Hangouts, and I'll post again the link to show you how to block somebody on Hangouts. My old lady profile has a Hangout profile, and she's blocked about 100 of them. So, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on. Somebody asked me today if we're still doing our old lady videos. We are, just because of the amount of time I'm working on the page. I haven't had a lot of time to voice chat as the old lady, so I'll try to get some videos out maybe in the next week. I only get a couple days off here and there for my job, so it's tough. And also, I know a couple of you have submitted your stories, and I know I've had one lady's story in particular for 2 weeks. I do promise I'll get it uploaded this next week. It's just been a time constraint for me with work and doing the page. But yeah. So I think that's about it. If anyone has any more questions, otherwise I'm going to close this. This has been going on for a little over an hour. But again, thank you for all your thoughts and prayers for Anne. Hopefully she will be on the mend and be back on here telling you guys what to do pretty soon. But until then, I am here, and we do have a couple of page regulars who do watch the comments on the page. So don't think that the page is unmanned. It's always being watched. But as far as the inbox, it's just me. And do remember in the inbox that everything we talk about is private. I will never share your information with anybody. I never talk about victims to anybody else. It's completely private, and you're completely safe in the inbox. So if you do need help, click message. I will get back to you, and hopefully Anne will be back on the page soon. But again, thanks for all of your thoughts and prayers and all the positivity. You guys are the reason we keep doing this. Thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel, Scammy Scammers. It's growing. We really appreciate it. I'm the one who makes all the videos. So if you have any videos, ideas, or something you'd like me to cover, just let me know, and I'll definitely do that. And I'll try to get some more old lady videos up pretty soon. Quick question from Lauren. Hi, Michelle. How do I send you a voicemail of my scammer? You should be able to click the message at the top of the page where it says message us. Click on, you'll be in our little chat inbox. You should be able to click on a little paperclip, and that little paperclip will allow you to upload a voice message. If you can't, go ahead and come into the inbox, and I'll give you our email address, and you could probably try to send it that way. And thank you to everybody. Thank you. I am tired. I'm very tired, but I'm going to be working on the page. This is my day off from work today, so I appreciate it. But again, thanks to everybody for all their positivity. Thank you for being part of the page. Like I said, you guys keep us going, and all your positivity, and I will let Ann know everything that you've sent to her, you know, her well wishes and everything, and it's really greatly appreciated. And thank you for keeping me going, because there's some days where I'm really tired. So, but I appreciate it. And if you guys need help, our inbox is always open. I don't let it go unmanned for one day. So just know that I'm always there for you guys if you need help. So thanks again, and much love to all of you. And you guys are just amazing, every single one of you. And I appreciate and really deeply have a lot of love for everybody that comes here. So keep your money to yourself, not the scammer. Stay safe, and I will see you guys at the middle of October for our next Q&A, and then I will be uploading some videos from our senior conference that we're going to be speaking at. So anyway, thanks again. You guys are appreciated. Much love, and I will see you guys in the next video in October. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.